Welcome back to another episode of It's Not Junk TV. I'm Jarvis, and today we're going to do a rescue from the landfill. Haven't done one of those for a little while. Figured seen this little scooter sitting on the back of a trailer and thought we'd get it and see if we can't do it. Will it run and ride after I think about 15 years of sitting idle? When we come back, we'll get close to it, take a look at it, see what we think, see if it's even worth messing with. May end up as parts, may end up I don't know. I just jerked it off the back of a trailer on its way to the scrapyard, so may be able to do something with it, and we may not be. So hang tight. Let's see what happens. Alright everybody, here it is. I haven't quite figured out what year it is. Not just yet. I know it's early 80s. I can't find any dates anywhere on anything. I don't know if that's focusing. Looks like somebody put about 2,466 miles on it. It was pretty rough. Like I say, it was in the back of a guy's trailer, heading on its way to the scrapyard. I hated to see it go, because I kind of remember seeing these here and there back in the day. I am that old, but thankfully I'm not as rough as this old scooter is. So tires look like they're pretty much rotted. All the body panels are there, surprisingly. But the tires, well, they seem to be kind of holding there. Somehow I've got it balancing here on a ATV jack that I got. It looks like it may have the center stand. I haven't even tried it to see if it actually works. No keys, no title, floppy mirrors. Biggest thing that I didn't realize when I first found it, somebody has set the seat off a full-size motorcycle onto it. I heard that the owner, the guy that rode this, or the guy that owned this anyway, I don't know if he ever rode it, was on the larger side, close to 400 pounds supposedly, and maybe he rode this, maybe not. I'm not sure. So I don't know. It seemed too cool to let it be destroyed, because it would have just been cut up, busted up, all the plastic thrown away. As soon as I figure out the year, I'll be able to add that to it. But as of yet, I have yet to find anything, any kind of VIN tag. It may be underneath the panels. I've kind of peeked around. They're all about half falling off there. One of them I did kind of stick back on there. But let me switch over to the other chest rig, which give you a different view of it. Let's start pulling some of these pieces off here and see what we got. Alright, let's start here. This is one of the brackets somebody's made out of some aluminum, it looks like. I don't know what it come off of, a ladder. They had these under here, and I assume went down into there. I'm not sure what the seat's off of. I was hoping it'd be a sticker. I think I swallowed the bug. Nah. Wow. Let's see. unleaded fuel. So it's not a two-stroke. That's good. I don't like messing with that old stuff. A lot of people like them, but I prefer not to deal with it. Alright everyone, finally, after a few days of hiatus, I'm back on the scooter. Actually kind of glad that I did wait. I ended up getting a few more parts. I'm pretty sure this is the air box for this little scooter. And the guy I got it from says that this is probably a brand new carburetor for it. So it says Elite. You guys can see that. So that's what he had. How long has this been hanging out in the box? Like I say, this house had a lot of stuff in it. 2006. Apparently he bought it from somebody in Utah. Alright. Well, I think we were here before. I had the seat off already. Set the big old goofy motorcycle seat over there. Let's see. I do like that it's not a mixed. We did cover that before, I think. Alright, and then these panels. They're not in the best of shape. Somebody put some duct tape on it. That always fixes it. Just a little duct tape. I don't know why I put my hand over that thing. Well, and that one was attached really where. Well, let's get down in here and throw them on the ground, break them up worse than what they were. And here and see what we got. Alright. Yep. I don't know what that goes to or why it just hangs out down there. Maybe it goes, if this is the right one. Oh, yeah. Yep. Torrential rains. Awesome. Yep, I bet you that is the one that goes on there. Seems like it. Clamps in the wrong place, but I wonder what goes there. Does anything go there? Something surely has to go there. Alright. Looks like some stuff going up to the battery. Wiring harness looks good. I do know on these that if there's a vent coming out of there. Yeah. Yeah, my weep hole right now. And I bet you that mounts right there on that sprocket. It does. Holy moly. I'll have to find some screws for that. But I wanted to look over the I swear the wiring harness looks complete. It's not too bad, really. I don't see nothing chewed up. Wonder how much gas is in there. It'd be full, probably. Yeah, pure shellac, so that'll have to be drained. I'm not going to run that through that new carb. Now, of course, swear that light looked like it was on there. Ain't no battery hooked to it. I was kind of poking at this before. I'm pretty sure that hangs there. That's supposed to be hanging. Something up there. But wire nuts. If you don't find a wire nut, somebody put an inline fuse in. I think what we'll do is break some tools out here, and probably every one of these fuel lines are probably going to be brittle and break on me. I need to get something that I can drain this gas into. See if I can't find the manual online. That bushing right there looks real good. It'll be fine. Yeah, well, the only thing to do is to do it, I guess. Alright, before we get too much further into this, taking off carburetors and all that nonsense and draining the gas, I wanted to, of course, I'm going to go ahead and get this ignition, this ignition switch picked here. Of course, I didn't get any kind of key with this thing. So, rather than, I don't even know if you can see it, rather than busting up the key lock like a lot of folks would do and putting in a toggle or whatever, I'm going to show you here. I picked up this thing years ago. Don't know if the company's still around. They don't sponsor nothing, but I've had this laying around for a while. It's kind of a retractable deal. Your little bar hides out in there. But just a cheap, I don't know, I wouldn't say this was cheap, but just an inexpensive breaker type pick. You can get into most of these scooter, a lot of their old motorcycles. There's not much to the locks. They're not they was just there as a slight deterrent. I mean, really, because you can just pull the wires out the back side of it. There's no real way of hiding all that. So, what we're going to do, sometimes this takes just a second. Sometimes it takes me a minute. Sometimes they pop right open. By no means am I an expert. Not by no means am I telling you to go out and do anything wrong by doing this. You do that, that's on you. But take it in there. I know it's going to turn clockwise, so you're going to put your little bar in. Put a little bit of tension on it. You see how this is made. It's like a little raker tip on it, so I'm going to drop it in this top here. Put a little bit of tension on it and just start. See that quick. So now the ignition is on. There's no battery in it, so it's not like we're going to be draining any battery, and I'm not getting one. I'm just going to throw a charger on it. Alright, we're finally back on this little scooter. Like I think I mentioned before, I thought I had a new carb to go on here, but apparently not. Once I looked a little closer, it is not the carb for this. It's for something else. I'm not sure, so it's just another new carb for another random motorcycle that came from this estate. So I think what we're going to do is get this one taken off. I want to drain the tank. That should be this line here going down into the bowl. Take this thing off, clean it real quick. See if we just can't clean the seat and the stuff. I don't want to break it all the way apart because I don't have a rebuild kit for it. I particularly don't want to go looking for one. So this is just see if we can get her running and riding after a long time. I think I found the license plate for it. I believe the last time it was registered was 1989. So that's about right. This says an 83. And so I'm pretty sure that's about right for it. So let's see if we can get this loosened up here. That ain't what we want. We want her to go that way. I don't think we're going to get enough out of that. Ugh. Pop this little bracket off here that's holding on this throttle cable. Alright, that'll make things easier. some kind of little plastic shim in it, probably factory original stuff. There we go. Yep. I don't think any of this has ever been taken apart. The way it's looking. Drop that off here. That goes into the breather, which I do have that. That is the correct one, the one I found in the box of stuff. Got a plug of some sort, some kind of digicals on it. Like now, try to pull off this. This should be the fuel line, but I don't see any kind of petcock or shut off or anything. Doesn't mean there isn't one. There's some kind of plastic cover right there. Let's see if we can get this off without pushing it off the stand. I should have it burnt free. Nope. Nothing comes out. Take the cap off. No. That don't help either. It stinks. So it's full of varnish. Gas from 1989. That seems to be some kind of breather. Get that to loosen up. Well, that don't do nothing either. I thought taking that one off there would have pulled the would have allowed the gas to flow. You see, I don't see no shut off anywhere, nothing that you can get to. One side of that is already loose. So somebody has tried to play with the carb at one point. Let's go ahead and take this off here. Yeah, somebody has definitely tried to take that side off, but I don't think they got very far because that throttle cable wasn't off. Let's see. There we go. And there it is. Looks like something off a that come off there. I don't know how that comes off there. Looks like it spins. And did the whole thing come out of there? Will it come out of there? I don't know what that is, if it's some kind of choke or... Alright. Now where could that be going off to? It's got there's been a vacuum leak there, for sure. Leave that O-ring right where it's at. Looks like it was sealing good. I don't see no seepage around where it was at. Alright, let me get reset up. Let's see if I can't get some video shots of pulling this little carb apart. So, hang tight. Alright, so I got the little carb taken off here. I went ahead and took the wire brush, kind of cleaned up some of the loose nonsense, the corrosion. just the loose dirt and stuff that's there. I think what we're going to start doing is going to take this float bowl off. I hope it's not a crack in it. It sure looks like it, doesn't it? It's got, it looks like cracks all the way around there. Alright, let's take it off and see what we got here. This little carb may not be no good. It's crusty. Looks like I expected it. It's all O-ring though, that's good. Little needle come right out. There's some corrosion in there, but nothing too crazy. This is what I'm concerned about. I guess it's just a casting mark. It sure looks like a crack right there. I don't think it is, but it sure looks like one. But I'm not seeing nothing on the inside. Let's see. This should be a way of tickling it, cleaning it out. See what we got going on in here. Of course, that little O-ring just obliterated itself, it looks like. No. It definitely needs greased. That's dirty. That O-ring's kinda funky. Don't feel no gas inside of there. Little pickup tube right there. I felt it move. And this is a brass brush too. This isn't a steel brush. I mean, you could probably use a steel brush on it and it wouldn't hurt anything. Especially one of this size. Let's try to get down in here and get as much of this loose stuff and corrosion as we can before we get it soaked down. Aluminum, if you let it sit, it will start to do the white corrosion thing. Alright, let me round up a few more tools. I'm going to pull the jets out of here, make sure they're clean. Fortunately, I ain't got any carb cleaner, so I'm gonna have to use a little bit of brake cleaner. It should be just fine. All right, let me round up a few things here. I'll be right back. All right, so the GoPro ended up dying on me, so we've had to switch back over to my static camera. I'm probably if I can get in here to show you exactly what I'm doing. So here's this little jet, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that camera picks it up, but there's some little holes right there at the end of that screwdriver. There's 6 or 8 of them that go around there that are probably jam full, and it looks like there's even some smaller ones down here at the very bottom. What I found works best for cleaning these, drill bits are too brittle and they end up snapping off. I've ruined a lot of jets before I figured it out. But the best thing I found to use is these torch tip cleaners. They're a little spring steel. They tend to not break. They tend to bend before they break off. So what I'm going to do is take the smallest one. Just run through each of these. Should be able to push through one. Yep. As I thought. And they got a little rough texture to them, kind of like a guitar string. So they'll kind of clean out the hole, polish it out a little bit. You don't want to go crazy and waller it out too big. Not that I think it would mess it up a whole lot, but probably don't want to do that. Alright, that's the top ones. Go through these bottom ones. Yep, there's quite a bit of that white crusty stuff in there. Go through that one. Make sure you get them all open back up. Go around several times. Sorry if you can hear the wind. It's kind of turned breezy on me today. There's some little bitty ones right down there. And this little dude just about go in there. Like I say, you don't want to get crazy and break nothing off in nothing. Run that all the way through. Alright. So that one should be clean. Take this over here somewhere. Allows that to overflow there. That one's clean there. That one comes out there. Go. A little float was stuck in there. Seems to be. I don't think it goes up no higher than that. See if we can't hold it open. Make sure. Aha! It is open right now. Alright. Give that a good spray. Open this all the way up. Alright. That all seems to be moving good. Let's get this jet put back in here. Out of them. And let's take and snug this up. Don't want to get too crazy and strip nothing out. You're not dealing with a head bolt or something here. This is just brass and cast aluminum. Alright, that little needle. Seems to be okay. Probably should have done that the right way. just to be sure. I see nothing on it, but that don't mean nothing. This little needle, well, if you ain't holding it upside down trying to do it, it's got a little groove that it sits in. You lay it right in there. See where that needle's hanging out? And you're going to set the whole thing down in there. Like that. Then your little pin. Get that back in there. Okay, now hang like that. We'll find a piece of hose and we'll give this thing a test and see if the needle's seating out like it should. Alright, found just a little piece of rubber hose, throw it on there, hold this upside down like it was on the bike, put a little air into it, alright, seems to be doing its thing. Take that back off. Let's take my rough, dirty finger here. You don't want to get crazy and get a little bit of that brake cleaner and rub our gasket. Get some of that dirt and corrosion off there that's crept its way into there. And it massages that O-ring, which I don't think helps, but hey, we'll pretend it does. And it looks like we got some crusties down in there. And of course I have nothing that's going to get down in there. Let me see, this thing's still pretty crusty too. Let's see. I like to get the bulk of it dry without putting any kind of cleaner on it. It seems to come off so much better. Everything's just not slimy. Looks better. I think there's a little port right down in there. I probably should try to clean. Yeah, that's what I thought. It seems to be crusted up. feel like that one might still have something in it. Let's see. Get the next size up here. I'd say these things are indispensable if you're going to rebuild a carb. I think it might be open. Alright, so there's that. Drop that back on there. Put your screws back on. Give it a little snug. Get this one down, give it a little snug. Don't ever tighten one screw up first and then the other. Especially on a carb, give it a little bit. Give it a little bit. And then come in and just give it a slide. And if you notice, this little Craftsman screwdriver is one I always use rebuild cards. It's got the little tiny handle on it. I don't want to be able to get a hold of it and wrench on it. Alright, so now you don't want to beat her around a whole bunch. You might knock that needle seat off. So we'll let that sit there. Use some of that. Clean up this little fuel air, I think is what it is. Get that off of there. I think that went back in there. Maybe? Nope. Went back in there. Yeah. Probably be good if I put it in the right place. Alright. Got the float moving again, butterflies moving again. I think it's cleaned out. Then we get back over to the bike and we'll see if we can get it thrown back on and see what happens. Alright, back over here to the bike. I want to get this little carb through back on here. It's acting like it may rain or something, of course. Seems like every time I come outside to do any kind of filming it decides to rain. Of course I don't have a shop to work out of, so the weather tends to be a hindrance. Get this doodaddy stuck back on here, whatever it does. I'm not sure what it does, but we're gonna put it back on here. Again, with anything on a carb, a little bit at a time. Don't try to crank it down all the way. Make sure it's seated good. Alright. So, I think that's really the only thing I need to get on here before I slide this carb back on. Now, it was that little doohickey. So, I do know that you can't push this all the way on. You kind of got to start it if you can find it. Let's see. Get that right under that ear. Yeah, this comes through. Because you gotta, there's not enough room to start the nut after you've got this pushed all the way in. So it will not on that side. Alright. I did get it. I did it. Alright. Get this one in here, or did I start that one too much? There we go. I might be able to get it started. You just gotta hold your mouth just right, because they didn't give you any room. Alright. But usually once you get them started. The thing is they go on pretty easy. Side, I might have to through here. This one's in a heck of a spot. Like I say, it was loose before I got lucky. I don't know how you would reach that. Well, now how did somebody loosen that up before if there's no way of getting to it? Not without a stubby little wrench. Can't get a, not able to get a socket on it. How? I'm gonna take that thing off? That little plastic fender? It sure looks that way. Which one is that? Looks like I gotta take off this little plastic fender here to get to it. Okay. Now I gotta take off the little plastic fender. Alright. Looks like we got a screw there. There. This thing's gonna have a fighting chance. We gotta get that little carb tightened up. Okay. That one. Got all of them? No. There we go. That allows that little fender to come out of there. Little plastic sub fender, whatever the heck it's supposed to be. Maybe. There we go. Alright. We got that out of there. There's the one. Now I get to it. Get that going. Maybe. Probably not. Steady. Yes. Well, I have to see what I got here. Hold on. Alright, so got the car back on, got the little fender back on. I am now convinced that this thing has an electric fuel pump in it. So I'm thinking what I need to do, I don't have a motorcycle battery that I keep in stock because every one that I've ever owned goes dead within a couple months and won't hold charge anymore. But I think I can take this battery charger, hook it up here. I assume the two reds with the wire nuts, the home wire nuts. These are your two hots, and that would have to be a ground because it was running up here to a battery box. So I think what we're going to do is move the camera around so you can get a better view. And well, actually, I think what I'm going to do now is hook this up and see if we can't get this fuel pump to pump all this nasty gas out of here. So bear with me. Let's see if we can get this funk up out of here. Alright, so now I got this car back on. Got my old school jumper box here, battery charger set up. I think in order so we can test this little fuel pump and then to drain the rest of this tank out of here, I'm going to hook this up, see if I can't get this thing to crank over. That'll give us a chance to check the starter, see if it's going to crank. As clean as this, I mean relatively clean as this is, the motor's not stuck, so we should be able to get her to crank over and see if we can't get some fuel out of this thing. So like I said before, I think this and this go together here on the positive. And I've already picked the lock, so that should be on. And I'm not getting anything. That on. Alright, we're not getting anything. Alright, we got lights. We got a brake light on. Lights. Alright. Well, if you've never messed with these scooters, you always have to hold the left hand brake pedal or brake clutch pedal in before they'll turn over. That I do know. I've messed with enough scooters, so we do got to turn it over. And I don't see nothing coming out of this fuel pump. Yeah, we got her turning over good. What do you say we shoot a little shot of ether to her and see what happens? I think I got something in here. Just give her a little kick. Probably way too much. Let's see what happens. Alright, well it hit, so that's a good sign. Because I didn't even pull a spark plug out of it to see what it looked like. It don't even look like it'd be fun to get to. So I think this is Well, that's weird. Apparently it's a 1994. Or that tank come out of it? I'm not sure. That's the first. I was going off by the license plate that came on it, and apparently that's not correct either. I might have to do some more research, make sure exactly what we have here. I'm not sure why we're not getting any kind of fuel. Let's see. That goes up to a relay. And it does. And I would say maybe the throttle's got to be open. Let's put this under here just in case. I don't want to shoot this nasty stuff all over my patio. Let's see. I think maybe I'm going to throw the throttle back up to it. For some reason, I think this little electrical device here stuck to the side of this carburetor tells it when you've got the throttle open, which tells the fuel pump when to kick on. Maybe. That's what the relay it runs to looks like. That's what it's doing. Maybe. I don't know. It's the first time I've ever messed with one of these. I say it was on its way to the scrapyard, and I bought it off the back of the trailer on its way. So, trying to save it. Kind of a quick adjustment here. Don't want no tension on it, but you don't want it flopping around either. And since we got it, we'll push that little boot back up on there. Alright, now see if I'm anywhere close to being right. Probably not. Alright, hold on a second. I think I'm going to pull this tank and dump it. Because maybe this little pump's not picking up anything anymore. Because there's just a little bit down there, but I don't want to put fresh gas in on top of it. So, let me get reset up here. Go a different direction. Yeah, I really think probably be in our best interest now. Maybe. Does that one look? That little pump's warm. I think it might just be low. It's not picking up. Wow. There we go. Looks we got one there that's not. Well, I got another one there. See, I think this tank's wrong. I think this is an 83. Then they stuck the tank off a newer one on here. Because it's got different size bolts. It's got a Phillips in it. So maybe the other tank went bad. That's not even that size bolt. Well, anywhere that's at. Found at the bottom of the seat. Alright. Now I gotta find Phillips. Take out the big goofy Phillips they got in here, maybe. Or is it just sitting in there? Or has it got a nut on it? Nope, just sitting in there. Not even the right size. Not much pair of Nippets can't take out. These are Craftsman, but they were made in Germany by the Nippets company. They're pretty handy. Let's see, this should kind of sit up here. Oh, of course. Take it all apart. That'd just be easy. There. What else we gotta take down here? Where's number? Ah, there it is. There is some kind of petcock down here. The only thing I see is this. That must be just a gas gauge then. They don't have any kind of shut off for it. It must be just some kind of fuel gauge. Yeah, there's a lot more gas in here than I thought there was. Alright, got this back out. Finally got this thing out of here. And I'm just going to try to tip it over in this bucket right now. And get as much of this nonsense out of here as I can. As I did. I would assume is some sort of petcock. Yeah, a lot more in there than I thought there was. And it's bad. That sit there in the rain. I didn't see a lot of particles or nothing in it, but it is shellac. Pure shellac. I'm not sure where all this is coming from. And we got the alarms going off. Well, I guess I don't understand where all that gas is coming from. So I'm kind of curious, is if on the bottom of this, it doesn't look that old. It's really strange. It is as clean as it is. Like I say, I'm pretty sure this tank's from a newer scooter. Which means it may have never worked. So we don't know yet. Well, that's still draining. Alright, well let me let this drain out and then we'll get it sit back in when we come back. Might be ready to try to put some fresh gas and see what happens. Alright, so I think I've let this thing drain. Got as much out of it as I think I can. I'm going to set it up like here. So I haven't got any car cleaner, so I'm still using brake clean, but I ain't been anywhere yet, so clean this gunk up around the cap here. Alright. That's all brake clean, so that should be fine. Clean them threads up a little bit. I did notice inside of here they had this little strainer sock, and there's all kinds of gunk caught up on it. So I'm just going to take this little brass brush here and ever so gently. Seems like most of that's superficial. It was just stuck on there, which is good. Don't see no tears or breaks, so that's good. And that just sits right back down in there like that. There's this little petcock diaphragm type assembly. Pretty neat setup, really. Get that started. Snug it up too much. I think that's how that needs to come out of there. So we don't get none of this residual crap dripping out of here. Well, I can already tell that's wrong. I'll loosen that again. That needs to be aimed back that way. I'll tighten that up there. Nope, that's still not right. Still too much. I'll take right there. That should do it. Probably not, but maybe. Pull this up here. that back on there and started. Get that stinky nonsense out of the way. Here. Back around here. Back down to there. There. Still. Sure. Let's go. Just a little off. Like that. That should do it, maybe. Snapped a quick picture of what this looks like before I took it off there. There we go. Maybe. Yep, that one's back down there. And that one goes back down there. Alright. I'm going to put a couple of these back in it. Just to hold it in place. There we go. None of these are right, it don't seem. That's alright. Seems a little snug. That back under there, back in there. I'll go button everything back up. That there. Alright. So down here, I'm going to put this little breather line back on. Bent, I suspect. That back on. And let's put that back on. That fuel line back on. As tight as it is. Alright. That goes into the breather box, and that goes into the breather box. So it should be good enough. Alright, let me get some gas in this thing. And get my charger and everything set back up, and the race car gets going by here, and I'll come back and see if this thing will start. Alright, got everything hooked up here, got the power back on. I don't see a choke. Maybe there's a... I don't see a choke. Try some start fluid here. So this bowl is leaking. So that means the float's sticking. See if that helps any. You know what? I don't think I've ever checked the oil on this. Being a Honda, it probably won't start if it's low on oil. No. Is that dumping fuel down in there? I think it is. Oh, weird smell. Don't necessarily smell like gas. Not sure what that is. This carb's leaking pretty bad. I'm not sure. The fuck is that? I think that was clipped. That might have been the issue. Alright, I'm gonna dig deeper here for a second. Alright, so I've been messing with this thing for a little while now. I've got it to where it's firing, I got it to where it's getting fuel. The bowl's still kind of filling up and overflowing every once in a while. But it's doing something I've never seen before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank it here quite a few times. Then I'm gonna get the camera in there close so you can hear the wheezing or air. Maybe a head gasket might be gone on it, I don't know, but it's after the fact. So I'm going to crank it a few times, get the camera in there close. I think the next move may be to pull the exhaust off of it. Something may have got in there and plugged it up. This thing has sat for a long time. So the chances of a mouse or something getting up in there, they can get in anything. So let me crank this thing over, and then we'll get you in here close and let you hear it for yourself. You hear the air? Like there's back pressure somewhere, and that might be why the fuel's being pushed out the bowl. The vacuum's not working like it should. So I think the next move will be to pop this exhaust off there and see see exactly what we're dealing with. Can't find my wrench. Oh, what to do this. Right now. Wait a minute. Shut up. I don't know what kind of bird that is. Yeah. Sure. They definitely let you know it's around, huh? Yeah? Don't know if I've ever heard such a thing. Undo these fender bolts. That's not that one. Well, I'm the awfulest at looking at size when it comes to size. Some people can just look right at them and that's not it. Well, it's always the last one you pick, I guess. Now, let's see if I can work this off here. Alright, we wrestle with this. Alright. That actually came off there a lot easier than I thought. And as soon as I was able to see the bottom of this, you see right there, it is completely full of a dirt dauber nest. They're an issue here as well. It's like anywhere else in the world, or this country anyway. I think, I don't know how far up in there they got. It would appear all the way. Figure out a way of blowing some air back through this. I need a piece of wire or something because I'm pretty confident that that goes on back in there pretty far. They may have filled this whole thing up. Make it there. There we go. Yeah, it finally made it through there. It's all right down here in this end. Them little buggers get in there. Yeah, it's still coming out, so I'll keep scraping. Look, there's still big chunks coming out. There's all kinds. I might not be able to use this. Look, big rocks coming out of there. Yeah, there's still. See if I can get this thing to go all the way up in there. Alright, let's throw that back on real quick. Okay, remembered how I slid that off there. There we go. One side's kind of hooked. Let's see. But Alright, I got the exhaust hooked back up. I think I got it cleaned out enough to where it may start to run this time. I've got the charger hooked up. Like I said, there ain't no way, I don't see a choke of any kind. Not that I see, but all we can do is hit it and see what happens. Well, figure out how this butterfly works. Put a start of that in there. Well, there it is. Well, I got it to run. It's been sitting probably 15, maybe 20 years. This carb is still leaking. That O-ring in there is kind of shot on that bowl, or I didn't crank it down hard enough, which is probably the case. Yeah, let me see if I can set this idle a little bit. I think it's overloaded it. Let's see, let's set this all the way. Well, I think what's happened is our little carb has probably picked up some more dirt picked something back up and it's stuck at the needle valve again. But she will run. We seen that, the little clutch is working. So I think that's, I'm gonna call that pretty much a success. I'm not much of a scooter guy. I just seen it there on the trailer and it was gonna be scrapped, so I kind of snatched it up and figured it'd be a good salvage. But I think as for this one, that's as far as I'm going with it. It's been fun. I say still need to do a little work on this car, but I think I'm going to pass this one along to the next person. Let them use it for parts or pieces. So I'm going to put it out there for sale. Anybody here interested in it, drop me a message down below. I'll let it go super cheap. I think there's a lot of good parts that could be saved on it. But it'll probably get pushed out front with a for sale and let it move on to the next guy. But my name's Jarvis. This is Itsnotjunktv. I really appreciate you stopping by. If you're not hit like and subscribe, please do before you take off. And until next time, I'll see you then.